What's happening, viewers? We are back here with the Strength Project. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for giving me critique and providing me some feedback. We're doing a little question and answering here. My first question I received was from Rodri Mora. I hope I pronounced that right, bro. I'm sorry if I didn't. He asked, do I ever recommend using wrist straps? I can deadlift much more than my grip allows me. I do train grip on a different day, trying to improve it. Yes, I do recommend using wrist straps. Use them up until the point where you need to use them, as in for pull-ups and rows and everything, you know, that you don't need to use a wrist strap with. Don't use wrist straps because all that heavy pulling movement, that's all gonna train your grip strength. For stuff like clean pulls and snatch pulls, absolutely use wrist straps. You know, you don't want to tear your hands up, and also you want to not have to worry about the grip. In the deadlift, you may feel the need to use wrist straps somewhere around your max because your grip fails before your actual pulling strength fails. Well, my question is, are you going to compete anytime soon? If not, then don't worry about it and just keep using wrist straps, just keep getting stronger. But if you're going to compete at some point, then absolutely ditch the wrist straps, because you cannot use wrist straps in competition. He also asked how to get my grip strength stronger. What I recommend is do lots of heavy pulling movements, like we said, dumbbell rows, barbell rows, pull-ups, deadlifts without straps, clean pulls, snatch pulls, clean snatches. Do all those movements without the use of straps. Use hook grip when it's an Olympic style movement. What I mean is the thumb is underneath your fingers. That is a hook grip. Use that for Olympic style movements that will train that style of grip, which is much more secure. And once you figure out how to use the hook grip, you can use it. I've hook gripped my max deadlift before without any problems. It's just much more secure, and it's a different method of gripping. And Rodri, I hope that answers your question. If not, please feel free to message me and we can proceed further. And the next question, Loose Donk. He says, make a video on how to place the bar on your back correctly for the back squat. I never had any issues with this before up until a couple months ago. In the mirror, the bar looks lopsided and one of my arms doesn't go as far back. Is this due to tight chest/shoulders? For the second part, yes, that typically would be due to tight chest and or shoulders. So work on stretching those things, and if there is an imbalance, then definitely correct that, because it's going to cause more problems than just having a lopsided grip. And I'm going to show you guys real quick how I place the bar. So I don't know if you guys can see, but the bar tends to rest right on top of my traps. I pinch that upper back together and shrug at the same time. And there's a tight little shelf where the bar is resting. I hope you guys can see there's a tight little shelf where the bar rests on top of the traps there. So that is where I personally place the bar. That is the ideal spot for a high bar placement for the Olympic full squat. Rambo 2670. I love Rambo, by the way, so your name is awesome. He asked, how often do you static stretch? To answer that question, I static stretch daily. I stretch every morning immediately upon waking. I do a little yoga routine where I stretch both my hip flexors and my hamstrings lightly. I stretch my back by doing the downward facing dog position. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I also do some light glute stretching and whatnot. Not only that, but I also static stretch more rigorously following my workout or in the evening, especially on days that I do not lift, or days days preceding a day that I do not lift. I have a more rigorous stretching routine. I tend to stretch for between 15 and 20 minutes. I may use the foam roller during this time. I really like to foam roll prior to stretching. I feel that breaking up the myofascial tissue and releasing all that provides more effective stretch. So I may foam roll the crap out of my legs and my quadriceps, and then I'll stretch my hip flexors immediately following that. I feel like it provides just a much more effective stretch. He also asked, if I work legs, then static stretch them 16 hours post-workout, will this be counterproductive for repairing tissue damage? The answer is no. You can stretch at any time following a workout, and it will aid you in your recovery process prior to the next workout session. I tend to recommend stretching in the evening following a heavy morning session. Stretching in the evening before bed tends to loosen you up prior to bed, and because overnight you tend to tighten up and store a bunch of tension. I don't know if you guys, you wake up and you try and stretch your back or your hamstrings and everything's extremely tight. That's just from laying down and not being active. So try and stretch post-workout and or in the evening. That's usually what I do, and it's been the most effective for me. Best way to improve your squat, says Kumsa Yuya. He said he's currently doing Jim Wendler's, and what is your view on this program if you have one? Thanks. From my understanding, Jim Wendler created 531. I may be mistaken, but from what I've seen, the program is extremely effective. It is very basic, which is good. It sticks to percentages and has linear periodization along with a wave, like a wave progression overload. These are all effective methods of training. I would recommend it for anybody, especially the intermediate lifter. I personally believe that to improve your squat, you definitely would have to, or you may benefit from squatting more often, and not only that, but definitely take time to realize and hone in on your technique. Figure out where you're structurally inhibited. What I mean by that is, where is your mobility limiting you? Find your inflexibilities and address them, because figuring out your structural problems and becoming more stable throughout a range of motion will increase your strength without actually you getting stronger muscularly. Is that even a word? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, like I said, find these limitations and address them, and at the same time squat. If I were to create my own squat program, I would have 3 days, one of which would be a volume day. I really like 3 sets of 5 or 5 sets of 5 reps in the 80% range. The next day, get comfortable with heavy singles or doubles in the 85 to 95% range. Just really focus on technique and position. This is a day where you can do as many sets. You can do up to 10 sets, 15 sets. Since you're doing such low reps, really focus on your positions, your speed, how you're exploding out of the hole, how you're creating stability at the hips. All these things. This is a time where you don't have to worry about accumulating a shitload of fatigue from a very high volume approach, like a 5 sets of 5. So definitely focus on those smaller things that will translate over better to a better squat. Day 3 would be a day, kind of a mix between the first day we talked about, the volume day, and the second day we talked about, the heavy day. Perhaps aim for really heavy triples here. 3 sets of 3, 4 sets of 3 with heavier weight than you used on the first day. And then on the following Monday, for example, let's say we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday like this. On the following Monday, maybe aim for 5 reps with what you only got a triple with on Friday. It's really up to you. I'm a really big fan and a proponent of frequent squatting and frequent heavy squatting. So these are things that you need to figure out on your own, what works for you. But until then, stick with a basic routine such as 5-3-1 or a basic 3 days a week squatting routine, and alter it depending on your specific how you specifically respond to these different training principles. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If not, I can definitely provide more feedback on that. This is kind of just me rambling right now. So Shiznik2 said, have you ever had any back issues? And if so, how did you overcome them? I currently have 2 disc bulges and am on the road back to squatting. Any tips would be appreciated. First of all, Shiznik, I really sympathize for you. Bulging discs are extremely probably frustrating injuries. I've never personally had a bulging disc or any sort of spinal injury for that matter, but I definitely understand your pain, and I'm with you on that. My recommendation would be train in any way, shape, or form that would be conducive to your goals without affecting that disc bulge. What I mean is, swimming. If you could swim, I would be swimming as much as freaking possible. I would get my cardio up through swimming, through jogging, through body weight exercises. Do anything that you can to increase flexibility and mobility, increase rotator cuff strength, increase hip stability, increase your knee health. Do all these things that will translate to you making much better progress once you can actually be in the gym going 100%. If you can set all these things up for yourself, you will have a much faster recovery, and you'll have a much more satisfying intro back into the gym, if that makes sense. Like you'll kind of create a base, and you won't have lost much, and you'll progress much more quickly if you arrange your training around this injury and address all these issues that you may not have time to address when you're actually full-blown weightlifting. I hope that answers your question. And Breaking iPod said, can you talk about Oli shoes if they are necessary to squat high bar properly? I've been thinking about buying some, specifically the Way Warriors. I don't know how to pronounce that. I know exactly what shoes you're talking about though, and I've heard they're good shoes. I do personally think that the Olympic weightlifting shoe is necessary to squat high bar properly. The main reason is because the high bar Olympic squat is a quad dominant exercise. The raised heel with the weightlifting shoe provides a more quad stressful mechanics of the lift. That's not to say that they're not necessary and they're not end all be all. The raised heel just provides more support, more stability, puts you in a better mechanical position to squat high bar properly with your hips dropping and going straight up and down like a piston. Without, you would have to have extreme ankle flexibility and hip mobility to achieve the exact same positions, which arguably you would never be able to achieve anyways without weightlifting shoes. So to answer, yes, get weightlifting shoes if you want to Olympic full squat correctly. WDN5258 asked, wanted me to make a how to properly clean and or jerk or snatch video. And I am in the process of doing that. I do currently have a wrist injury, which I haven't been able to front squat, do any overhead movements. The most I've done is a muscle snatch, and that's actually been aggravating it recently, so I've even laid off that. I haven't been able to clean in over a month, and it's very frustrating for me because I really want to do these movements, but I can't. So basically what I've been doing is back squatting and pulling my ass off. I've been doing clean and snatch pulls almost every day, lots of RDLs, and strengthening my hamstrings and glutes. So we'll see where I fall when I get back. I do plan on creating a video though for that, and I really look forward to creating that because I know I've had success in the past with teaching complete beginners with my own opinions on it, and basically I've used a hybrid of what other coaches use and what I personally used to have success teaching myself, and it's been very beneficial to people just starting out. And that sums it up. There's no more questions in my YouTube video. I didn't receive any messages. I really hope this helps you guys. I know this is kind of long and long-winded. I tend to ramble a little bit. I need to work on that. And So once again, thank you guys all for watching. I'd love to do this, at least once a week or as much as possible. I'd love, getting back to you guys, answering any questions you may have. Seriously, if you have any questions for me, I'd love to hear from you. Comment, message, post, and please, tell your friends if you like these videos, if they're helping you out. Spread my name. I want to positively affect as many people as possible with my teachings. I consider myself a disciple of this guy named Kelly Starrett. Look him up on mobilitywod.com. He is the king of mobility, and he talks a lot about the same things that I've talked about in my videos, except he has he's a doctor of physical therapy, so he's a freaking genius. But check him out, and I hope you guys like my videos, and I will talk to you guys all soon. That's Strength Projects out.